with the release of the rebase that private servers are running on, and specifically the Horizon private server, the way that players are able to identify the IDs of NM placeholders got a little more complicated. So I wanted to make a video to describe or show how to find these placeholders. Previously, the way that it would work is, say for example, I'm looking for the NM Nunya Nunk, and if you look at the picture on the wiki, it's right here at the top of West Saruta Baruta, and that's where I have myself, right there at the top. If you look at the wiki, it says that it spawns from carrion crows. It says there's 4 placeholders. There are actually only 3. But the way that you would find which placeholders there are before, so pre-rebase, is you would use the LSB GitHub repo. And you can easily find that by typing LSB GitHub, and you'll find the GitHub page. You'll notice that it's been archived, and this is because LSB has been deprecated now, and we use LandSandBoat. Sorry, I had to remember what it was. And the way you do it before is you would search for the name of the zone. So this is West Saruta Baruta. Let me zoom in a little bit. West Saruta Baruta. And you'll find IDs.lua. And if you scroll down, you'll find the NM you're looking for, and then within that list, you'll see a bunch of pairs. And what the pairs are is that is the placeholder equals the NM's mob ID. So there are 3 placeholders with mobs with placeholder IDs ending in 515, 516, and 514. So there are 3. And with just that information, you could then go back in game, and you would use an add-on that would show you mob IDs, and you would find it, and you can see the IDs that the white bracketed number next to the wind resistance icon. The number ends in 515, and you also see it next to the yellow mob name 515. If your add-on doesn't show it, most people use XIUI right now, so you could type XIUI to open the config window, go to target bar, and then go down to show enemy ID, and you do not want to have convert to hex. You just want to show the enemy ID. You don't want convert to hex because the numbers that are shown here are not hex. Pretty simple. But when you have that enabled, you will be able to see them when you target mobs. So this guy's a placeholder, and this one way over there, that's a placeholder. But if you were to go back and then look at LandSandBoat, which is what we're running on right now, and you go to West Saruta Baruta, IDs.lua, scroll down, and you'll notice there's an entry for Nunya Nunk still, but rather than showing 3 placeholders, it just says get first ID Nunya Nunk, which doesn't really help us. But what you can do is search for the .lua file for the NM itself, which is always just named the name of the NM.lua. So Nunya Nunk.lua. You want the one that's not Nizal Isle. You want the one that's the zone name / mobs / mob name.lua. We go in there. Here's a bunch of spawn points. But you go down to entity.phlist, and this is going to be almost what LSB had. It's going to be your 3 placeholders, but you'll notice that rather than having defined mob IDs, they're now obfuscated a little bit, and they're referencing Nunya Nunk's ID relatively. So you'll see the first item on each of these entries is still the placeholder's mob ID, but instead it's the NM's mob ID minus a number. So whatever Nunya Nuke's mob ID is, the three placeholders are that mob ID minus 1, that mob ID minus 2, and then that mob ID minus 3. So what we can do then is you ask yourself, well, what is Nunya Nuke's mob ID? And you can find that through another file. I have it open here. It's called mobspawnpoints.sql. Let's open a new tab, and we'll find it. Mobspawnpoints.sql. And we'll go to view raw because the file is too big. Let's zoom in a little bit. Alright, and something important to know about this is just an SQL database file. But the actual data here is everything after the word values. So every entry is basically this. And the first number you'll see after that is the mob ID itself. And you can see that right here. This table definition here, top to bottom, correlates left to right with the entries. And if you search for your mob, Nunya Nuke, what you'll find is that you actually get 4 entries for this, but really it's 2 because the name is repeated. So there is Nunya Nuke, the name, and then the name is used again. And then if I press next twice, I get down to the same mob again. But what you'll notice, let's go back up to the top, there is a position X, Y, and Z, which correlates to a spawn position. And the 2 before that you'll see is min level and max level. So let's go back to Nunya Nuke, and you'll see min level is 75, max level is 80 for one. And then for the other one, min level 12, max level 12. And it should be pretty obvious that the one that is max level or min level 75, max level 80 is not the one you're looking for. This is almost certainly Nigel Isle again. The wiki says Nunya Nuke is 10 to 12, in which case for us it's actually just 12. But nonetheless, we know that we can ignore this first one. So we find the one that actually matters, and we see that the mob ID is 17248, and importantly 517. The last three numbers is usually all you really care about. So 517. So let's go back to the file for Nunya Nuke and look at the placeholders. It's Nunya Nuke's ID -1, -2, -3. Let's go back here, and you'll notice that these mob IDs are listed in numerical order. And you'll see that right above Nunya Nuke are 3 carrion crows, and their mob IDs are 514, 515, and 516, which is the -1, 2, and 3. So these 3 carrion crows on this list are the placeholders, and these line up with what LandSandBoat said. Now, the reason why you might not want to just use LandSandBoat is because things have changed. Many times you'll find that the IDs have stayed the same, but you can't exactly rely on that. And if you're going to spend hours hunting at NM, you may as well verify to be sure that the placeholders that you're killing are actually the real placeholders. So here's how you find the IDs. And again, as long as you have an add-on loaded that'll show you a mob ID, you can just look around the spawn area, find a mob, look at the ID. And this guy is 516. And I know 516 is a placeholder because Nunya Nuke is 517. And 517 -1 is 516. And that matches the 3rd placeholder in this list. So we know for a fact that guy is a placeholder. And that's how you find placeholders using LandSandBoat.